Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. The comment about Guru Pimpi, the reference to the 2023 article, and the quote about the Central Bank of Iraq attempting to delete 3 zeros from the Iraqi currency since 2003 all point to a much larger discussion that's been ongoing for years. The future of the Iraqi dinar, what deleting the zeros actually means, and how this policy would affect holders of the currency, both inside Iraq and abroad. The original post pushes back against the misconception that a redenomination means a simple exchange of a 25,000 dinar note for a 25 dinar note in a way that equates to a loss, without fully understanding the technical mechanics and monetary implications of a redenomination process. When someone says the Central Bank of Iraq wants to take 3 zeros from the Iraqi currency, they are not referring to the exchange rate directly. They are referring to the nominal value of the currency itself, which is a completely different concept from exchange rate movements. The misunderstanding arises when people confuse redenomination with devaluation or revaluation, when in fact, these are different monetary policy tools used for distinct purposes. The statement being critiqued, Guru Pimpi, thinks they are going to take a 25,000 note and give you a 25 note. Doesn't even make sense. Calls attention to a fundamental misinterpretation of what deleting 3 zeros actually entails. It's not simply about shrinking the physical note or slashing the value for no reason. The phrase deleting 3 zeros is a common way to describe a redenomination of a currency, which is usually done in the context of economic stabilization or modernization efforts. A redenomination is when a country changes the face value of its currency, often after years of high inflation or following a major overhaul of its monetary system. In Iraq's case, the central bank has publicly stated for over a decade that it intends to simplify transactions and modernize its currency structure by deleting the 3 zeros. To better understand this, it's important to consider Iraq's economic history post-2003. Following the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime and the subsequent rebuilding of Iraq's financial institutions, the country reissued its currency. The dinar that emerged in 2003 replaced the old Saddam dinar, and it was designed to be more secure and trustworthy. But despite this major change, the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, inherited a situation where the new currency had to function under a bloated money supply and a fractured economy. Due to years of sanctions, wars, and inflationary pressures, the country adopted large denomination notes, most notably the 25,000 dinar note, which became the standard in circulation for both governmental and private transactions. However, high denomination currencies have drawbacks. They complicate accounting, cash handling, and everyday commerce. As a result, the idea of deleting 3 zeros from the currency resurfaced periodically as a reform measure. In economic terms, deleting 3 zeros is akin to saying that 1,000 dinars will now be 1 dinar, or that 25,000 dinars becomes 25 dinars. This is what is meant by a redenomination. It is not the same as saying that someone's money is being taken or devalued, especially if done in a currency-neutral and economically responsible way. The article from 2023 that is cited, Economists Divided Over Deletion of Zeros, illustrates that this debate is ongoing among professionals and academics. Even within Iraq, there are economists who support the move, arguing that it would increase trust and stability in the dinar, while others are skeptical, questioning whether Iraq has the institutional stability and inflation control needed to execute such a measure properly. The existence of debate doesn't mean the policy has no merit. It means it's a serious policy under consideration, worthy of rigorous analysis. So, when someone like Guru Pimpi says, or is accused of saying, that a 25,000 dinar note will become a 25 dinar note, the context is important. If he's talking about redenomination, that's technically accurate in form but incomplete without explaining that it's a neutral shift. If he's suggesting you'll lose value and get ripped off, then that reflects a misunderstanding. When someone says, I show you all the time the proof, and points to these kinds of articles, what they are doing is grounding their understanding in actual policy language used by Iraq's central banking authorities and media. These aren't wild theories pulled out of my ass. As the speaker puts it, they are well-documented public policy debates. That's what separates serious currency watchers from the sensationalists, an ability to cite sources, understand the technical language, and recognize the difference between monetary tools. When the speaker concludes by saying, that's called a redenomination, They are trying to educate others who might be conflating concepts or getting confused by oversimplified commentary online. Redenomination is a tool that's been used many times around the world. Turkey removed 6 zeros from its lira in 2005. Zimbabwe has done it multiple times under hyperinflation. Brazil did it several times during the 20th century as part of its currency reform. The idea is not unique to Iraq, nor is it inherently a bad or threatening thing. It's a step that some countries take when they need to modernize their currency structure after periods of inflation or monetary chaos. The goal is to streamline the financial system, reduce public confusion, and normalize the currency so that it can function more effectively in both domestic and global commerce. To reiterate, if Iraq deletes 3 zeros from its currency, and you're holding 25,000 dinars, you would get 25 dinars in the new system. But that 25 dinars would be worth the same as the old 25,000 dinars. Prices would also be adjusted. A bag of rice that cost 25,000 dinars would now cost 25 dinars. A salary of 1.5 million dinars per month would become 1,500 new dinars. It's an across-the-board numerical shift, not a value shift. And if the redenomination is managed properly, there should be no loss of wealth, purchasing power, or international exchange potential. In conclusion, the original poster is pushing back against misinformation and doing so with sources. The Central Bank of Iraq has clearly stated its intentions regarding the deletion of zeros. They have framed it not as a devaluation or confiscation of wealth, but as an administrative correction, something to bring the Iraqi dinar in line with more modern, internationally standardized currencies. Understanding the difference between revaluation, redenomination, devaluation, and currency reform is crucial for any serious follower of Iraq's monetary policy. And for those watching from abroad, hoping for a major payday from holding dinar, it's essential to base one's expectations not on hearsay but on actual policy discussions and the history of currency management worldwide. Thanks for tuning into Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.